Pilates for tennis.
If you're anything like me, you're missing getting out on the court. Normally I'd be playing every week, so picking my racket up to do this video today is a bit like meeting a long lost friend again. The reason I am putting this video together is because Pilates is really helpful exercise for tennis, and actually elite athletes like Andy Murray and Serena Williams include tennis in their training schedule. Why is tennis helped by Pilates then? Well, Pilates helps improve our flexibility, our control and our balance, as well as increasing our endurance and our core strength and our ability to transmit and produce power. So it's incredibly useful for tennis. As tennis is very much a one-sided sport as well, it can leave us prone to developing postural imbalances, and Pilates helps identify those imbalances and helps us correct them. So again, really useful for helping us in the now, but also helping us make sure that we enjoy this sport for a lifetime as well. So the key exercises I've chosen are 5 exercises, and collectively they're going to help increase your balance, increase your upper body and your shoulder blade stability and strength. They're going to help to increase your ability to rotate your trunk and control that movement by increasing flexibility there, but also increasing your oblique abdominal strength. They're going to increase your core strength of the deep abdominals and increase your hip flexibility and strength as well. So we're really working top to toe, finding some 5 exercises that are going to really give us the maximum benefit for our tennis. So have a go at doing them a few times a week if you can while we're away from the courts, and hopefully when we get our keys back and we can get back playing again, you're really going to feel the benefit and you can hit the ground running.
Lunge with rotation.
So the first exercise we're going to do today is a variation of a lunge. So a lunge isn't one of our classic Pilates exercises, but it's often an exercise that we will incorporate into classes, particularly during the warm-up, because it helps to get the large muscles of the legs nicely warmed up for what we're about to do, and it also helps to stretch out the hips as well. So it's a useful exercise to do. We're going to modify this one today to make it a little bit more relevant and useful for our tennis practice. So we're going to start in a nice long stride on our mat, and we're going to pop the tennis racket behind the head. We are going to keep that back leg straight. So in a normal lunge, we're going to bring that back knee down towards the mat and back up again. Here, we're going to actually keep that back leg deliberately straight, and we're going to lunge forward onto the front knee. So you will feel a really nice stretch over the hip here when you do that, but also you're going to feel how you are using that back glute muscle to control this exercise as we go down. So it's not quite the same as our normal lunge. And the other thing to remember is when you come down, you're going to really make sure that that front knee glides over the middle of that foot and that you're not allowing it to drift in or out. So we are going to come down into our lunge. Once we're down here, we are going to rotate. So the addition of this rotation while we're holding our lunge position means that we are using our oblique abdominals, which are useful for our ground strokes in tennis, and we're also in this position having to maintain this position, so it's quite difficult from a balance perspective. So it's really good at helping to improve your balance as well as your core strength, your hip flexibility as well as your hip strength as well. So it's a really lovely exercise, doing quite a few different things, all of which are helpful in our game. So you can repeat this until you're tired on one side, and then you will come back up again, find that start position and repeat on the other side.
Crisscross.
So our next exercise is a really good one for strengthening the deep stabilised muscles and our obliques again. So we're going to pop ourselves down, head on our head block or a folded towel or a book. We're going to engage the core, trying to maintain that little gap underneath the small of the back. Just imagine there's enough space for a mini marshmallow under there. We don't want to flatten the back to the mat as we do this exercise. We're going to breathe in to prepare, float one leg up as you breathe out, breathe in again and deepen that abdominal contraction as we bring the second leg up. So we're going to start with both legs in the air, and we call this our double tabletop position. We are going to put our hands behind our head, and we're going to make sure here that as we come up into our position, because we're going to want to come across towards the opposite knee in our crisscross exercise, we want to make sure that what we're really trying to do is to draw the ribs of one side towards the knee of the opposite side. So I don't want to drag my shoulder through or pull my head that way. I want this movement to come from shortening the distance between my rib cage and my hip on this diagonal line, and that's how we really get those obliques to work for us. So we're going to breathe out and in, out and in, out and in, out and in. All the time I'm making sure that I'm not flattening the lowest part of my back to the mat and maintaining that gap for that mini marshmallow. And you repeat your crisscross here until you feel tired or you feel you can't control the movement properly anymore. That's your cue that you've done enough of this one.
Arm openings.
So in our next exercise, we're interested in the mobility of the thorax, the thoracic spine, the mid-back and the rib cage, and the ability of that part of us to rotate, because when we're playing tennis we want to make sure that the upper body is nice and flexible, and that means that we don't run the risk of having to try to find too much movement from the shoulder, which is one of the causes of shoulder injuries in tennis. So from an injury prevention point of view and also a performance point of view, we want to make sure that the right parts of us are doing the right job, and rotation coming from the thorax is important. So for this exercise we're going to pop ourselves down on the floor. We're going to put our head on our head block, and we're going to have our arms in front of us, palms together and the knees bent. Just gently take the top hip away from you, just to help to restack that top hip over the bottom so we're nice and balanced here, and you may find a little gap emerging under your bottom waist perhaps. So we'll start with those hands together. We're going to breathe in to prepare and engage that core. We're going to breathe out as we take the arm straight above us so that the fingers are pointing up to the ceiling. Once we're here, we're then going to rock the whole of the upper back backwards, including that arm, to rotate the thorax. So you can take that arm a little bit further back than I am, but what you want to make sure is that that second part of the rotation comes from the spine rotating and not just the shoulder moving. This is where we're beginning to get the right parts working at the right time. So we'll come into this position, we'll then come back to having our fingers pointing straight up to the ceiling again, and then we bring it back down to meet the palm. So breathe in to prepare, core engaged, we breathe out and in and out and in. So you can see that I'm watching my hand, so I am including a little bit of neck rotation as well, but you'll see that I'm not allowing my pelvis or my legs to move. They are staying stable, so the movement is coming above my pelvis, really from that mid-back. So it's a really lovely spinal mobility exercise.
Shoulder bridge.
So we're going to go through the shoulder bridge next. The shoulder bridge is one of our classic Pilates exercises. It's a little bit different from a fitness bridge because in Pilates we really want to emphasise the movement between each individual spinal joint. So rather than the whole back move as one, we're really going to try to emphasise a peeling movement to really get individual joints to move one by one, and therefore use the small muscles that control those movements. So it's quite a particular exercise. It's one that we absolutely love because it has so many benefits. benefits. As far as tennis is concerned, it's going to help build up lower body strength, strength around the hips, so our glutes, but it's also going to help us gain more core control and ability to control the movement of the spine, and also transmit forces along through the spine. So I'll show you what to do. We're going to pop ourselves down on our mat, and I'm going to show you two variations of this exercise which do two slightly different things. So the first thing we're going to do is pop a soft ball in between our knees, and this is going to help us strengthen up our adductor muscles, and the adductor muscles are really important in tennis because they're the ones that help us control the sudden changes of directions that we might need to do, and help protect and support our hip joints. So we're going to come into our bridge position by squeezing on that ball, engaging the core, breathing in to prepare, and as we breathe out we are going to try to peel the tailbone first off the mat, and then one by one we are going to move our way up the spine until we're just feeling the weight on the back of our head and our shoulder blades and our heels. So we want essentially to be in a straight line from shoulders, hips to knees. We're going to breathe in here, and we're going to breathe out as we come down, again replacing one bone at a time, ending in the tailbone. So breathing in, breathing out, breathing in and out. So you'll see I'm really scooping my tummy in and trying to get those ribs down first before my bottom comes down on my way back down again. So still squeezing on that ball to help engage those inner thigh muscles, our adductors, and out. So this is your first exercise. You'll do this until you start to feel tired. And then the second exercise, we're going to put a piece of resistance band around the thighs, just above the knees. So you might have some resistance band yourself at home. If you don't, then you could do this exercise just by tying anything around your legs really, because it's just going to give you a bit of resistance. It doesn't have to be super stretchy. You might find a pair of tights helps, or you might just do it with a scarf or something like that. So we'll come back down to our position again. So this time now, we are going, rather than pushing in to recruit the adductors, we're going to push out against that band, and that helps us recruit the lateral rotators of the hips. Again, these muscles are involved particularly in weight transference from one leg to the other, but also helping to control those sudden changes of direction as well, so giving us stability on the weight-bearing leg. So we're going to breathe in to prepare. We're going to push out against that band, bringing the knees into line with the hips, and again coming up into our shoulder bridge, and then breathing out as we lower again one bone at a time to come back to our start position. If you feel that you get some cramping behind your thighs, then just start with your knees, your heels a little bit nearer the bottom, and you will find that actually that helps you really switch on the right muscles, the glutes muscles, and it stops you tending to get spasm in the hamstrings, which isn't so pleasant. So just a quick check of your start position should alleviate that. So breathing in, breathing out, I will peel one bone at a time all the way up, breathing in and out to come back down again. And again, you'll repeat this until you feel that you're tired, or that you can't control that movement properly, or it might be that your hamstrings start to get a little bit crampy. Those are all clues for you that you have done enough work with the target muscles, and actually you can stop that exercise.
Leg pull in prone.
So for our next exercise, we're going to go through our leg pull in prone, a really great exercise for building up upper body strength, increasing the strength of the bones as well as the muscle in the arms, increasing stability around the shoulder blades. So that's really important for tennis, that we've got that lovely anchored and stable scapular shoulder blade that enables us to do those meaningful and powerful movements with the arms. So upper body strength and scapular stability is one of the key things that you'll want to work on for improving your tennis. So we're going to start on all fours, and we're going to have the arms just a little bit further forward than the shoulder so that our wrists aren't under our shoulder joints in this position. We're going to tuck the toes under here, and we're just going to get that lumbar spine in a nice neutral position. So you're just going to rock up and down a couple of times to find your lumbar neutral, and by that we mean a nice gentle curve in the small of the back. We are going to engage the lower abdominals, breathe in to prepare, and as we breathe out we are going to float the knees just 5 centimetres or so off the mat. We're then going to push forward so the shoulders do end up over the wrists and come into that nice plank position. We're going to breathe in as we come back, and then we lower those knees. So the full leg pulling prone exercise is conducted over one breath, where we breathe out and in, out and in. If you want to make this a little bit harder, you can also use your glutes a little bit more in the full leg pull exercise. So we're going to come up and forward. We're then going to lift one leg and straighten it off the bed or the mat, the other, and then we come back to the start. So breathing in to control, to prepare, out, in, and out, in, and out, and then in to come back. So great strength building exercise, fabulous for the core, great for switching on, strengthening up the glutes. So a really great addition to your tennis specific training program.
I hope you really enjoy doing these and they really help you, and I look forward to seeing you on court soon. Bye.